Hello, this is a different style video. This is actually going to be a book review. I just finished reading Revival by Stephen King. I just want to give you my thoughts on it and all that. And I am curious too if anybody read this book as well. Let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. But I just wanted to give a quick review and just see what other people thought of it as well. But anyway, without further ado, shall we begin? So, Revival by Stephen King. This is not really an older book, but it's not a new book either. But if you've read this, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. Pretty much what it is about this kid, I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now. His name is Jamie Morton, and it pretty much follows his life and how he keeps encountering this pastor, a pastor that he first grew up with, but he ended up having a family, just a family accident, I guess you could call it, pretty much, like, just he goes off the rails, and he becomes obsessed with electricity, and it's just pretty much the story throughout the life. Like, he goes from, like, being, I think, maybe 5 or 6, all the way to pretty much the near end of his life from old age. So it's actually quite interesting, and I think it was actually a very well written book. It does take a little bit of time to get going, but if you haven't read it yet, if you read, like, at all, and if you read Stephen King books, I do recommend giving this one a try. I've read a few Stephen King books. I've read Misery, I've read Pet Sematary, I'm attempting Under the Dome. I don't know how that's gonna be, but I think I will read that eventually. But this book is surprisingly pretty good. I read Carrie, that was a very quick read, but this one did take me a little while to get through, because like I said, it did get a little boring at times, so it did kind of have to pick up the pace, but once it did, it really got going. And I don't really want to say anything else without getting into spoilers, so that's going to be your spoiler warning. I enjoyed the book. It's pretty good. Don't let the cover fool you, because this is kind of a key point of the story, but it has so much more to do with it than just that. But anyway, that's my spoiler-free review of it. I do want to get into a few spoilers. So anyway, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The first thing I want to talk about is just how it goes from time to time to time, and I feel like it's actually warranted. Now, the main thing I want to talk about that was the biggest surprise to me was the tragedy that the pastor goes through, pretty much seeing his kid and his wife get just, like, completely slaughtered by this car accident. Like, in the novel, they said, like, an eye was hanging out, and, like, it was just, wow. Like, I was surprised with how graphic it got, even though, I mean, it's Stephen King, I shouldn't really be surprised, but, it took it took a turn out of nowhere. Like, the way that it got me, I was just reading it, and then I was like, oh, but, it's actually a really well-written book. I mean, anything by Stephen King is very well-written most of the time, and, it takes place in Maine, just like it always does, but he befriends the pastor, and then the pastor, he loses everything. Then he goes off on this rant at church, pretty much saying that, like, God doesn't exist. If he did, it would be blah, 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 and if he does exist, he's damning him. And, he storms off because it was a very religious community. And then, as the years pass on, the lead character, Jamie, he does, like guitar and all that, and he ends up in this rock band, and then he ends up getting addicted to drugs, and then that leads to one thing to another, and to the point where, like, he can barely function. And then he runs into his old pastor again at a carnival, and he's doing, like, a little electric light type of thing, like, where he's, like, just kind of, like, projecting people onto pictures, that type of stuff. I actually found it really cool in the book. And he's like, what? And then he's like, Jamie, I haven't seen you in forever. And then he ends up, like I said earlier, he's obsessed with electricity, and then he ends up recruiting him, and then he tells him, like, pretty much what it was he ended up curing him with his electricity, and he's like, I don't think you're gonna have any more, like, issues with cravings and all that, and your withdrawals should go away within the day. And they ended up going away, because he even got ditched by his band because he couldn't get his act together, because he was always drugged up. And then later on down the road, like, pretty much he finds out that Charles Jacobs becomes super, like, rail thin and all that, and he's doing, like, a traveling tent type of thing, where he's just, like, recruiting people, healing them with the power of electricity. But as time goes on, he starts to realize maybe this wasn't such a good idea, because the people that, like, he was curing and all that are, like, just pretty much unaliving themselves, for lack of a better term. I can't really say that. I don't really want to say that anyway, but that's pretty much what they're doing. And then he has to investigate into why, and then he realizes that it was actually the pastor, and he was like, I've had a few weird issues where, like, I wake up, like, stabbing myself with a fork, and then the pastor ends up reaching out to him, and he's like, you know, your old girlfriend, well, she's dying of cancer, and I could cure her, but only if you come out here and help me, and trust me, I do not care. I will let her die. And then he ends up going out there to help him because he got an estate up in, like, the far, far reaches of Maine. I think he said beyond Bar Harbor, so that's actually incredibly far up. And then it leads to this big confrontation because the pastor wants to see what's after death. That's what this has all been about. Like, he really wants to see what's after death. He wants to see if his wife is waiting for him and all that, his wife and his child. And then when he finally does get to see what's after death, because he revives this dead lady, it goes off the rails. What he sees is not what he expected. It is just pretty much like a kingdom of ants. Pretty much, like, it is just absolutely insane. And then that pretty much scars him. Jamie escapes, but I think he has to put a few bullets within the zombie, I guess you could call it. But Charles Jacobs does not escape. He ends up dying right then and there because, I guess, from shock or whatever. He had a few strokes earlier on in the story too. And then pretty much what it ends is with the lead character, Jamie, visiting his brother in the mental asylum. Well, not the mental asylum, it's pretty much a retirement home, but as the time goes on, he's just like, yeah, I'm still gonna visit him, even though he's just not there anymore. And anyway, that's the story of Revival. It is so good. I'm sure I missed out a lot. The book is about 400 pages, and this is pretty much just gonna be like a maybe 6 or 7 minute video, so I definitely left out a lot. But it is just a good story. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend giving it a read. If you haven't, if this is your style, like, I recommend giving it a read if it is your style. But anyway, that was my review of Stephen King's Revival. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and a subscribe so I know to keep making more of these. If you have any video requests, please leave them down in the comments below. I'll do my best to reply. As of now, I have one video request and that is being made, but if you do have any others, just let me know. As long as within my capability of making it, I will be making it. And I do know this was kind of a different style of a video, just talking about a Stephen King book pretty much, but I kind of want to incorporate different stuff into this channel as well. And once I'm done reading something, I want to do a review on it. Once I'm done watching something, I want to do a review on it. And I just want to continue doing my unboxings and all that. So definitely keep a tuned into this channel because I'm going to be uploading a lot. I'm trying to upload quite a bit, so just stay tuned. But anyway, thanks for watching as always, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Bye!